Good morning, dear student. I am Rupak Shah from the Millennium School, South City, Lucknow. Today I will be giving you the first lecture for the chapter Motion. Before I start the chapter, there is a small introduction for the subject physics. Basically, physics is a subject which deals about the study of nature, natural phenomenon, its correlation with the motion, force, and causes. Everybody knows that sky appears blue, but the reason we get from physics. Similarly, rainbow is formed, board appears white or green. All these reasons which are all happening all around us, the reasons will be obtained from subject physics. Where it is applied. Physics is applied which makes us technologically sound and allows to face and know the technological revolutions, also to produce the expertise and produce a lot of gadgets like mobiles, computers, laptops, TV. So we cannot imagine the life without physics if such type of technological revolution haven't supported us. So this subject physics gives us an opportunity to know all the new revolution taking place in the technologies part. So one by one we'll come to know about the facts of physics, especially light generation, electricity, space science, study about the universe. They're all basically dealt in the subject physics. So I hope you will find this particular subject very interesting. So one by one we'll take the content. The first chapter that is covered in the physics is motion. When we talk about the motion, there is two words. One is called state of rest and another is called state of motion. State of rest means the state when the body do not move or change its position with time. Actually, it is not moving. It is at rest. So it is state of rest. And what about the state of motion? When the body changes its position or starts moving with respect to time. It means the body is not at the rest, it has changed its position from one place to another, and that particular state will be called state of motion. It means when we study about the motion has two states. One is called state of rest and it is called state of motion. I hope it is clear with you. So there are generally different type of motions. The first motion that we will be taking today is called the rectilinear motion. The rectilinear motion is the motion in the straight line, and it is also called the linear motion. For example, if any body, for example a car or a bus moving in a straight line. So if a body moves in a straight line, that is called the linear motion, and that motion will be called rectilinear motion. Similarly, the second type of motion is called, very commonly used word is called vibratory or oscillatory motion. If a body show to and fro motion just like a pendulum or a swing of a park. So that body starts moving on either side. This body is going this side and this side. That motion is called oscillatory motion, or this type of motion is called to and fro motion. And this motion will be also known as vibratory oscillatory motion. Third type of motion, which is also very common, that's called circular motion or circulatory motion. If a body is moving in a circular path. So this is the body which is moving in a circular path. If the body is moving in a circular path, and that motion is called circular motions. Example, motion of fan, very commonly called a circular motion. Motion of planets, motion of satellites, they are called circulatory motion or a circular motion. So these are the different types of motion, and we'll come across different type of motion in a subsequent classes, or we can say in different levels. In class 10th, class 11th, class 12th, we'll know about different type of motions. Relative motion, it is a motion of body with respect to other. We'll take an example of relative motion in the later part of the video, but before we must understand the word of origin and reference point. We already studied about the state of motion. State of motion means a body starts moving. So if at a certain point the body starts moving or shows the motion, that starting point from where the body starts, that point will be called as the origin or a reference point. So I've given an example where a body is moving from A to B by covering, for example, 5 meter. So it has traveled the distance of 5 meter, but here A is called the origin or a reference point. So this point where the distance will be calculated to the point where it actually ends up or moves. So 5 meter is the distance calculated from a particular point, and that point will be called origin or a reference point. All these topics are basic topics, and you need to understand them properly to understand the concept of motion. So I told you I will give example of relative motion. It's a very common type of example that you see in the daily life. Now this is a bus, and there is a two person sitting in this, A and B, and one person is standing outside of the bus. And you can experience in the daily life also, if the A is sitting in the bus and B is sitting along with you, but C is outside of the bus, and if this bus starts moving, what general observation we feel that this A and B are relatively stationary to each other. It means when the bus starts, we are not moving from our place, we are sitting, but basically the bus is moving, but we are appearing stationary to each other. But what about this C? This C appears to be moving. It means for the body A, B will appear as stationary and C will appear to be moving. It means the relative motion of A with respect to B will be stationary, and the relative motion of A with respect to C will be moving. It means in this example, this person who is sitting in the bus appears different, and the person who is out of the bus, his motion will be different. So I will just read it. A is sitting in the bus with B in the bus, but C is outside the bus. When the bus starts moving, B will appear stationary. It means B is moving with him only for A, but C will appear moving. As soon as the bus starts, you find that C is moving. So what about the relative motion? Therefore, the relative motion of B is stationary, but the motion of the body C with respect to A is moving. It means C is in motion with respect to A. This type of motion is called a relative motion. We'll come across different type of examples of motion in the subsequent videos. Till then, I hope all the topics are clear to you, and as soon as we proceed further in the further videos in coming sessions, your concept regarding the motion and different physical quantities taking the motion will get clear. Till then, observe the videos properly, see them for 2 or 3 times. You will understand the concept should be clear with you. And if you have any queries are there, please contact us or call us. Thank you so much and stay safe.